My name is Hans Laroche. I'm from R3 Marketing. Welcome to this fifth edition of the LoyalT study. The LoyalT study is the most extensive and most complete study in the Canadian market on the performance of a loyalty program. So today we'll cover the analysis of this fifth edition. So a quick word on R3. We specialize in loyalty program. Luc, can you go further? Just one more slide, please. Sorry. Okay, no problem. We specialize in relational marketing and loyalty program. We develop a loyalty program. We optimize existing loyalty program, and also we do some training, and we do some ROI measurement of a loyalty program before launching a new program or after a few years to evaluate the actual ROI. So today we'll have people from Léger and also our sponsorship, which is Dialog Insight. Before we start, since we're more than 100 people at the seminar, this webinar, we'll ask you if we have questions. You can go in the control panel and ask some specific question, and we'll take the time it needs at the end to answer all questions. And if you have a technical problem, you can go in the chat, and someone is available to help you to solve any problem you have with your technology. So so again, welcome. And before we go to the study, the next slide, sorry. We've been conducting this study for the fifth year, and we've been working with Léger, which is the largest Canadian-owned and polling and market research firm in Canada. All the data collection, all the analysis is done with the Léger team, and R3 collaborates in the questionnaire and also in the recommendation of for the different companies who are buying the personalized report. So I'm going to leave the mic to Mathieu, who's from Mathieu Nézan, who's from Dialog Insight, who's our sponsorship this year.
So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Director of Marketing at Dialog Insight. I'm very happy to be here for this fifth study. For those who don't know us, we're a relationship marketing SaaS platform designed specifically to help marketers evolve in the customer acquisition and retention area. For more than 20 years now, DI has helped companies in Canada and abroad for their omni-channel personalization and automation campaigns. So the reason we're here today is that customer engagement is at the heart of what we do in our development innovation roadmap too. So enjoy the webinar.
Thank you, Mathieu. So today there will be three people who will talk about the study. Myself, Paul Lafortune, who's a partner at R3, and Luc Dumont, who's the Vice President Consumer Packaged Good at Léger. And Luc will start by presenting you the methodology that we've used this year.
Thank you so much. It's great to be with you all today. This is a great partnership, a really exciting study, and we've brought a number of pretty interesting changes this year to the study to make it even better than it was in the past. One of the things we've done is we've doubled our number of respondents. We've gone from 5,000 in prior years to 10,000 this year. These are all Canadians 18 years of age or older who are part of Canada's largest panel of 400,000 members, Léger's Leo panel. And this year the data collection went from September 13th to October 14th. The reason that we increased the sample this year, obviously always better to have more, allows us to do more slicing and dicing of the data and get more granular in our findings. So let's talk a little bit more about the content. So what we do is we basically ask respondents to evaluate programs, obviously, that they're part of. If they're part of a number of programs, we ask them to evaluate 2 of the categories of the programs that they're part of. And of course, we focus on the following categories. So groceries, drugstores, entertainment, transportation, dining, all of the ones that you see on your screen. We have a new section this year on the mobile experience and those loyalty programs. And in the diagnostic report or the larger report, we have a special section on convenience stores and gas stations. This year, a couple of programs have basically disappeared from the market or have merged or have changed. SO Extra is now partnering with, is now part of the larger PC Optimum family. Rona and LCBO have terminated their agreements with Air Miles, so they're not being evaluated this year. And of course, due to the recent climate and the recent pandemic, we've decided not to evaluate the airline program loyalty programs this year. We do, however, have 4 new programs that we're evaluating in the restaurant category for Chipotle, Domino's, Pizza, and Panera Bread. We have an entrant also in the special section, the convenience stores and gas station, which is the Ultramar Journey program, which is new to Canada, I believe. So the way that it works is, the loyalty score is made up of a number of different measures that are then grouped into 3 main pillars, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But we have there on the other side of the screen the variables that we use to calculate this score. So obviously awareness and frequency of use, number of visits per month and amount spent, frequency and consultation of the communication tools, so emails that people get or SMS messages that they get about the program or any special features about the program, mobile phone usage of the apps related to the loyalty program and social media use, the number of points that they've redeemed in the last year, which is a very good indicator, ease of use, accumulation, and redemption. I'm not going to list them all, but these are the main components of how we calculate the index. What's interesting is, or what's most interesting and useful is the larger diagnostic report that can be purchased that allows you to look at your own program on all of these variables, but also lets you compare yourselves to the category players as well. So all of your competitors and the best in class across the board. So that's a very, very powerful tool when you want to see how you can improve or where you can, eat market share, if there are gaps in the overall market. So the loyalty score itself is based on those 3 main pillars that I mentioned before. The first being the behavior index, which is the program's ability to retain members and basically change their behavior. So for example, getting them to increase their shopping frequency with special offers or with, special points week or things like that. It also looks at changes in behavior to maximize getting points. So going more often, going during those special events. We look at the concentration of purchases, and we also have one variable that is around the idea that if this store or retailer did not have the program, I would go less often. So all of that sort of behavioral stuff goes into that index. The second one is the engagement index, which is frequency of use. So how often they will take their card out, and as we know, some people don't always use it. They forget, or if they're not prompted, will not do so. We look also at the points redeemed in the last 12 months and the frequency of consultation of communications, as well as the quality of those communications and their relevance. What's new this year is the attachment index. Now, the attachment index is something that came out of discussions with R3 and of all of our sort of collective knowledge of what's happening in the space. And it was determined that these concepts, that emotional connection to the loyalty program, is something that was becoming more and more important and basically replaces the recommendation index, the NPS score that we had in the past. Not that we don't use the NPS score, it's still part of the study, but it just became evident that the human aspect of the loyalty program was something that was gaining in importance in how I guess, in how it would affect the overall loyalty score. So things like designed for me or designed with me in mind is really important. Makes my life easier and saves me time, makes me feel special and pampered, and has my best interests at heart. The score itself is on a scale of, we'll get to the scale a little bit later, but it's basically a score of 100, and we did that. That's also a change. We did that to make it clearer as to which programs were outperforming the average. So, you know, above or below. So I will hand it over to
Paul.
Paul, yeah, thank you. So before going and seeing what are the top 10 programs in the country, we are going through some specifics on general behavior and usage of programs that we have found this year. And bear in mind, that we are looking at, we have 5 years of study. We are looking at 2018, 20, and 21. 19 for us, it was a year where we studied the premium programs and credit cards. So we don't have the same set of data to compare with. But the first topic that we want to address is really the decrease in frequency of visit that persists after the pandemic. So we really scaled down from 2018 to 2020 in terms of how many visits of per month that a member was doing within specific sectors, and this has stayed almost identical between 2020 and 2021. So I think if you have a program, you probably have seen that your customers are actually shopping less often and increasing their average spend. This is what most of retailers have been facing. So there's a decrease in frequency. There is some stores that were closed in 2020 and 2021, so that does not help this calculation as well. But that does not mean that customers have purchased less. Most of them have purchased differently. So one thing that we've seen is that their online purchase is actually reducing loyalty. When customers purchase online, they have more time to shop, they are more price sensitive, and we say that they are more intentional in terms of shopping. So it leads to a reduction in loyalty. And one thing that we have seen is that members enroll in more programs in Canada. We have a jump from 10 per capita number of programs in which customers are part of, and the numbers of programs in which they're active is only 7.1. So there's a gap of 6.4, which is the first time that we see that in the loyalty study over 5 years. So we might, question ourselves as to, why do customers enroll in more programs? Maybe it's because they want to save, they want to plan their purchases, they want to probably shop at different places. As you know, customers over the last 2 years since the beginning of the pandemic have started to change their number of stores they shop with, the type of store they shop at. So there's really a change in behavior on this side. We see a kind of saturation level in terms of loyalty programs as to how customers want to engage, whether they want to engage or not with the program. So there seems to be a real saturation on that point. And we actually find ourselves in the same situation in the previous slide. Look, the same situation that the States, the USA, were in 2016 in terms of a percentage of programs in which I'm part of and in which I'm actually using. So we are almost the same identical statistics here that the States had 5 years ago. So the consequence of that, the first one is, the activity rate in terms of percentage of customers using a program. The activity rate is something that we have to look more deeply in terms of segment on a per segment basis. It also leads us to, look at the onboarding strategy in terms of, once a member enroll, what type of rewards does that person gets within the first month, what type of communication is going to be sent to those members. And, I think programs need to really look at what's the how fast can we generate a second transaction within the first month of enrollment. Otherwise, there's going to be some attrition within programs. So you might have seen that with the new members that you have enrolled over the last 2 years. Hence, there's many members that needs to be reactivated. Of members that are actually using the programs, we have a stability in the activity rate. As you can see, we're about a 1% spread between these two, between 2020 and 2021. But we're still far away from 2017, 2018. The #1 program in the country is the SAQ Inspire program, which is the Quebec Liquor Board, that has its own private program. The #2 is Save on Foods in BC. As you know, this is a supermarket chain with a credit card and a coalition program that is attached to the program. So they are ranking #2, and the Cuddle Club from Mondoux in Quebec is #3. And it's close to all of them. The 3 leaders are around 90% of customers that present their card or use the program almost or most of the time. As far as redemption rate, which is not something that's showing here, but the redemption rate, customers saying that they have redeemed this year, we are stable at 30% versus 2020, but really far away from 2018 and 19 on that figure. Bear in mind, this is not the percentage of redemption you have of the points that you're issuing. It's really more like, what percentage of customers are really saying that they redeem. The next thing that we have asked members is, up to what point are you ready to share data with the program? And actually, the trading of data for benefits seems to be well understood by the youngest crowd. The 18-34 really understand that they get more if they share more data. But of course, this comes with the responsibility of a program to really focus on content and personalization of offers. So it comes with the really responsibility for programs that have, that are really catering to the youngest crowd to be able to really fulfill their obligation. Another way to look at this graph is to say that the older age groups are really more concerned about the data privacy. And what are we accepting as customers to share? What we see first is, of course, everything that is really based on the data that I'm required to fulfill to enroll. Members seems to be agreeing to share that easily. In terms of social demographics, there's no issue, not too much. Anything that triggers personalized offers that are linked to past purchase behavior also performs well. But the moment you get into online browsing history, social media data, there seems to be a stop, and customers and members don't like to really share those information. How do customers want to ID themselves when they shop within a program? On the next slide. Well, you always need a kind of physical card. It seems that this is stable, that people like it. And of course, it really, really depends on the demographics of your programs and of your retail sites. So what we are seeing, there's a really large spread between that 15% of or 29% of customers that say I'm okay with a phone to ID myself when I do a loyalty transaction. But it really depends on the target group that you're facing. For example, the studio program by Dynamite and Garage, which is a fashion chain for young women, it's really run only on mobile. So, you know, you're going to have people really asking for this. They don't want to have a plastic card. They might not even issue a plastic card. The other sector where we see a really a way to pay, combined payment and mobility is the restaurant or the dining business. This is almost a mandatory way to be able to operate a loyalty program nowadays. So in both cases, you know, it's really based on your type of business and on the demographics that you are using and that you meet with your customers. In terms of how do customers consult rewards balance, communications, promotions, all the elements that are composing a program, mobile ranks first, and with a kind of big increase of at least 5%. Bear in mind, again, you know, this is an average for all the 70 programs that we have surveyed. There's the categories or the sectors where this is the most popular: restaurants, specialized food. Specialized food for us is we include the SCQ Liquor Board, we include Starbucks, David's Tea, and McDonald's is within specialized food this year. Fashion and gas as well are quite heavy in terms of mobile phone usage. Number one program in the country, Garage Dynamite Studio program, number one. Starbucks ranks number two this year in terms of mobile and smartphone usage. How do and why do customers accumulate, you know, points, and what do they want to do with those points? You know, we have asked them what's your behavior in terms of redeeming, and what they're telling us is we have 54% that tells us that they are really accumulating whatever you give them, miles or points, to reach a certain objective. So that's about 54%. There's 31 that do not mind, but there's 15% that will redeem right away. In all sector, we see that distribution in terms of redemption, or, you know, keeping the points as a squirrel for a better time to redeem. The only sector where there's a change is the hardware sector, where people redeem immediately most of the time. So there's a big uptick in terms of redemption in that specific sector. Next in line, you know, is what we call gamification. And gamification and specialized content and targeted content are really two of the elements that help to maximize engagement. So we always track gamification, and it is really related to first the age groups that you are targeting. So if you are a studio, Starbucks, and you know, programs that aim, several restaurants are aiming at a younger crowd. You know, gamification is something that you have to look at. Again, this is for the average of all the programs, but as you can see, 26% versus 19% is a sizable increase for the youngest group. Also, this tends to be more popular in the English-speaking province than in Quebec. So this is something to remember. So for the moment, you know, we can say that if you have a younger age group, you know, this is one way to really help your customers and members engage with the program in your company. In total, we have tested 14 different manners to reward members. And we just show you here about 7, so half of them, but you know, there's 14 different manners to reward members. The 3 preferred way are, you know, what we all know, you know, which is the entry to play the game, with the ticket of entry to play the game, the points per transaction, rebates, and free products. So these are the 3 that, you know, customers and members prefer to have. But then, you know, there's all the other ways to reward members based on engagement that are appearing, which is surveying, answering surveys, producing a review of a product that I just purchased recently, and participating in different experience and at the store level. So these are really the second wave of, I would say, reward type of system that customers and members like to have. So it's really tough to only have the first three, because then you have a kind of a blend program. Whereas the moment you introduce other mechanisms to reward your members, then you start doing something in terms of moving the needle and adding more engagement. What we have seen as the success factors contributing to to having the best programs. The three top ones are accumulating and redeeming almost anywhere. So it seems to be kind of easy to say, but not all programs allow members to accumulate and when they, in all channels. So this is an issue for many programs still today, and redemption is even worse. Sometimes you can accumulate, you cannot redeem because the systems and the POS cannot trigger that type of transaction. So, but this is the first element that is being asked by members. The second one is the ease of program to use mobility. So this, I find this very on top. This is one of the highest one. So if you don't have a mobile app, at least to have a digital card and embedded into your phone, which is the minimum. If you don't have that, it's tough to play this game of loyalty nowadays. And the third one is surprising, but maybe not. It's the trust of how the data is managed by the program. So customers know that they reveal some data, they answer survey, they enroll in the program. Sometimes they tie their social media to the enrollment process. So this is an issue for many of the programs. I think on a weekly basis we see a company worldwide that has been hacked in terms of data. So this is an issue that customers are really worried about. So somehow, we'll have to, in Canada and the States, I think we'll have to go the European way, where data has to be, when someone grabs data from a member, we have to say, what this data will be used for. There is a variance of about 15 to 40% on that specific graph of our table. So the leaders can have an upside of between 15 and 40. So this is a huge increase on a per program basis. We have two stats that are interesting, or two bars on that graph that are interesting. The first one is the generosity level of the program. The most generous sector that we are seeing are the restaurants, the specialized food, and the gas sector. The gas sector, most probably not because they have high margins, but because maybe customers don't expect much, but they get something that is interesting to them. And the other factor that we want to talk about rapidly on this slide is the indulgent factor. So what do customers and members do when they redeem? Are they getting all excited and they want to buy some things that or products that they are never purchasing, for example? And we don't see that pattern of behavior for food and gas. So all the staple retail sectors, even hardware, people don't, go and do and buy crazy stuff, when they redeem. Whereas in the fashion side, in the specialized food and the restaurant sector, they do. So when they redeem, they're going to buy a bottle of wine, they're going to buy a different accessory in terms of fashion. So they will indulge and buy something else. Now on the premium programs. So we always keep that in mind whenever we do the survey. Premium programs since 2019 have been very popular. So we started tracking this 2 years ago. And since then, we see that there's even an increase in many of the programs that we are tracking. So we're tracking PC Insiders, Plum Rewards, Plum Plus, Prime, and Costco. So these are the three that we're tracking since 3 years. Of course, the pandemic has most probably boosted the Amazon Prime enrollment level. So we see that an increase from 25 to 44% of Canadians that are part of Prime. So this is a huge increase. Plum is increasing a lot as well, and PC Insiders also only show a 2% increase, but since the trade areas of the Loblaws are so huge, a 2% can mean 400,000 new members. So the 2% we have to be careful about. The Plum and PC Insiders are really moving up in terms of the 13 to 34 age group, so the youngest crowd are still joining those programs. And you probably have seen in the last 2 weeks, Scene from Cineplex has launched its own Cine Club program. We have seen Kroger piloting a program with 2 paid levels in the States in 4 cities. So this is last week. So this is just the beginning. We think that loyalty programs using a premium component will be more popular. A study that went out last week reveals that 76% of USA customers, part of loyalty programs, want a premium component. So they want this in grocery, in fashion, in health and beauty, and gas, in the gas sector. So this is where customers are looking to have a program for them in terms of premium. So they're really ready to pay a monthly or an annual fee to get more from a program. So this is good news for most of the retailers, I would say. Hans?
Thanks, Paul. So briefly, we'll just give you some quick stats, some interesting stats about the gas and convenience store sector. And what we're seeing is that the gas rebate is the predominant thing in terms of bonus. So people want really get rebate on gas since it's very expensive. And what we see now is all banners have now loyalty programs. We see lots of new regional players, mainly in Quebec also, and they're doing a good job. And the best program will use those 4 types of bonuses. So discount, rebates from partner, free stuff or rebate into the convenience store, or free car wash. What we're seeing also is that the objective of most of those loyalty programs is to bring people inside the convenience store. So because as you know, they make more margin selling sandwiches and lotteries and beer than they make selling gas. So they want to incite people to go inside the convenience store. So what we're seeing is that in the average is that 2 customers on each visit, 2 out of 10 visits, customer will get inside. And what we see also is that for half the time, those customers won't never go inside. So there's a lot to do in this area, in this sector. And also what we're seeing a lot of difference in terms of performance between the different gas program in Canada. So I think we've analyzed about 7 of those. So what we see also is that programs that are in a rural region have a better performance in terms of bringing people inside. Maybe it's the fact that the supermarkets are far away in those regions than there is in big cities. So, and we see also that regional program have a stronger affection index. They seem to perform well because they're regional, they're local, and also that the company who owns those programs are known locally. So we see a difference between rural and urban banners. So that's about it for the gas. On the mobile sector, it's a new category that we just look at this year. So what we did is we looked at programs that have some kind of a relational or rebate program. There's no loyalty program per se in this sector, because it's not points that you can exchange for money. It's either additional minutes, it's either free stuff, it's either also rebates on your total monthly account. But what we're seeing is that only 35% of the clients of those telecom provider see or understand that there is in fact a program. So so the question we're asked is which was your primary cell phone provider, and to your knowledge, does your cell phone provider offer a reward or loyalty program? So Fizz is a program that was started based on that premise that they will offer some rebates, additional minutes, and that will target young people, and they're doing quite a good job. 78% are aware of that program, and then it goes down to Virgin Mobile 50%, Fido 33%, and Telus 23%. So in that case, what we're seeing is that the relational program are not quite strong and not well recognized by the subscribers, and compared to the States where they have really strong programs, but also in the States, the fact that the competition is much higher. Most of the best provider of telecom in the US will have a 25% retention rate annually, so the competition is much high. So those programs becomes a differentiator in the market in the US. But in Canada, what we're seeing is that they could do, most of those guys could do a much better job in terms of relational program. So also what people are looking for is mainly have some credit to the dollar on the monthly bill on the account, and that's what Fizz is doing with this program. So they're also looking at free products, but the main thing that people are looking for is a dollar on the total bill. So now we'll go at the top 10. We'll look at the best program independently of the sector or category, and then we'll go deeper into each category. So if we look at the 10th program, the 10th program is, in terms of ranking, is Métro et Moi, which is no real surprise. Métro is in Quebec. They have a very strong program, which is very strong in terms of personalization. So each year it's been in the top 10. So they have a score of 116. The 9th program is PC Optimum in the gas for ESSO for the gas category, and that's also 116. I remind you that the average score, the average loyalty score for all programs that were analyzed is 100%. So what we're seeing from the best, that it would be a score of around 150, as you'll see, and the worst will some programs have received a 57 loyalty score overall. So the 8th program is SAQ Inspire, so it's the liquor board in Quebec, for those who don't know. Again, this program is really something. It is really a benchmark in not only in the liquor industry but also in many industry, because just to give you an idea, for those who don't know that program, they're sending each week 1.5 million of personalized newsletter. So there's not one newsletter that is identical to the other. It's all based on your consumption of type of wine, type of liquor, and also they will adjust the content, the articles, the offer, and the points that you'll receive on products that are based on your historic in the past. So it's a very well, probably one of the most advanced personalized program in the world. So they've been in the top 10 for the 5 years we've been analyzing the programs in Canada. So the 7th program is Domino Pizza. It's a new. We have analyzed 3 new programs this year. Domino's Pizza, I think it's for Panera Bread, Chipotle, and I think the other one is I think those are the 3 new one with the one we had last year.
I think we have pizza as well.
Pizza. Thanks, Paul. And the reason for that is that those program, like Chipotle, has been around for a long time in the US, but it just arrived last year in Canada. So, and mostly in English Canada, we see a lot of new retail restaurant outlet of Chipotle. So the 7th is Domino's Pizza. The 6th program is Irving Rewards, which is not Irving Air Miles that we see in the Atlantic provinces. It's Irving Rewards that we see in Quebec and Ontario mainly. So it's 6th and 6th position. Again, Starbucks is in 5th position. No surprise, Starbucks is one of the strong program. They've been on that list for many years. So the 4th program is Mille-Plein, which is the Eco banner. It's a regional player in Quebec in the gas industry. They've been redesigning their program for the last 2 years, and it's been performing really well. The 3rd program, no surprise, PC Optimum of Loblaws in the food sector is always a strong program. They do a great job in content. They do a great job in personalization, and the affection index is also very strong for that program. So the second one is Proxy from Arnois, which Arnois Energy is again a local gas and convenience company in Quebec. They launched a new program, a revamped program at the beginning of this year, and it paid off. Now they're in the 2nd position. And the first program this year, which is the new first for this year, it's Chipotle rewards from the Chipotle restaurants. And again, this is not a surprise because it's been known as being the best, one of the best loyalty program in the restaurant space in the US for many years, and they keep on. What we're seeing with programs that are always in the top tiers is that each year or each 2 years they revamp, they redesign their program, they go more deeply into using the data. So that's what we see with PC Optimum, with ACQ, with Metro, and with Chipotle. So again, it's the 2nd year that we have lots of gas players in that space with the 10th best program, and but I think it's a new trend that we see right now, because it's as you know, the gas is a pretty non-differentiated industry, so the best way to differentiate yourself is having a strong program. So probably the reason why we see small banners now launching their own loyalty program. So if we look now on each index, and the behavior index, or the capacity of the program to change behavior, what we see is Chipotle is the #1, Proxy is the #2, and Mille-Plein from Eco, which is in the gas convenience, again, is 3rd. In terms of engagement, that's pretty stable over the year. SAQ, Metro et Moi, and Cuddle Club is a pet food chain in Quebec that have a very good program. And those are the 3 best programs in terms of engagement with the brand and with the program. But I think they've been very strong for the last 5 years on that specific index. So there's no surprise here. On the attachment index, Chipotle, Irving Reward, and then Proxy are also the 3rd best one in that specific index. If we look at the best in terms of each category, we see that groceries, Optimum, and Metro et Moi are always the best, and the 3rd one is Sobeys with Air Miles. Into the drugstore industry, drugstore space, it's PC Optimum again with Family Plus, which is a banner in Quebec, and Jean Coutu is 3rd with Air Miles. We see there's between the 2nd and the 3rd in those 2 categories, a big there's a big gap in terms of the overall score. Just to give you an example, all the programs that are related to air miles are all the coalition program with air miles. The score of those programs, either it's in gas, in supermarkets, or in the food sector, are all around 100. So what it means, it means that those programs are average. So compared to, for example, PC Optimum or a Metro that will have a score of 140 or 120, there's a huge difference between the score of the second or the third player in that sector. So in the gas, Proxy is the best, Mille-Plein and Irving Rewards, with the first two one are regional program. I think the fact that the families and that those programs are really strong in their local region and the family are well involved locally makes also a difference. In specialty food, no surprise, Starbucks is always there, SAQ is always there, and now McCafe has revamped its program twice over the last 2 years, and they're now doing a better job. Next year, McCafe will probably be in the restaurant category, because now they're moving their offer and also the points that you get, not only based on coffee, but also all the other type of product that you can buy in a McDonald's. So next year they will probably be moving into the restaurant category. So in other category, entertainment, Sign is a Cineplex program across Canada. It's we have to bear in mind that we have three different. We've put it in the entertainment business, but it's three different categories. So Dessert is in Quebec, is also in the artist material, and Plum is in the book industry. So, but those three programs are doing a good job. Dining, Chipotle, Domino's, Tim Reward. And in fashion and beauty, Sephora is always in the top 15 program, as you know. But Dynamite is doing a great job with the female teenager, and Body Shop also is doing a good job in this sector. Sephora, in terms of overall score, just to give you an idea, is a 16th overall, all the categories. So we'll talk about a bit about the content and also the personalization of content, because this year we've seen a very strong correlation between, and we'll go deeper into that in a few minutes, but we've seen a very strong correlation between personalized content and also change of behavior. So, and it's the second year we've seen the fact that the people are looking more and more in terms of content, advice, great videos, things that will help them make better better buying decisions. So in that space, PC Optimum is doing a great job, and they did an amazing job reassuring people during the pandemic with great videos of how to cook, how to buy more intelligently and shop grocery. In the dining sector, Chipotle does a great job. The drugstore, in terms of content, Shoppers and Family Plus are the best one. In the gas, in terms of content, it's Irving Rewards. In entertainment, it's Dessert, and in specialty food, in terms of content, SAQ is doing an amazing job, because since they know everything you buy on a regular basis, they're able to provide you with great content. For example, if you're a big amateur of Italian wine, they will provide you with very good content to make you discover new products and buy more of those Italian wines. So that's about it. In terms of the generosity, generosity is also has a direct correlation with the ability of a program to modify behavior. So in the dining, it's Chipotle that's doing it, is the most generous in terms of perception. Proxy in the gas. In the specialty food, it's Starbucks. In groceries and in drugstore, it's also PC Optimum. You have to bear in mind that the private coalition program are always the program that have the best generosity. because they have, you can accumulate points from different types of partners. So like PaySeptimum, you can exchange your points for groceries, but you can accumulate points in the pharmacy, in the food, and at Esso also. And those programs also have what we call accelerators in terms of points. They have the private, the co-brand credit card, which gives you more points, but they also have the, as Paul mentioned, they have like the premium program where you pay a fee. And one of the advantage of the PC Insider program is that you accumulate more points faster. So again, the generosity is of course is a very good impact for those programs, because you really do get more points faster than a general private program. So that's about it for the best program. If we look at now the conclusion, first, gas programs are becoming more and more sophisticated. We see now that they're using more and more tactics to get you inside, even though they're trying to speed up the payment process at the pump. Now they're also driving offers to bring you inside. So free coffee, free car wash, also special offer with vendors on special merchandise. So they're doing a better job at this, and even the smaller program are doing this. So the more regional program, we see more and more dining programs out there. Year after year, SAQ, Inspire, Metro et Moi, PaySeptimum, and Starbucks are always in the top 10, which makes sense because they're very advanced program. Mobile phone provider relationship strategy need to be improved. People don't recognize the program. People don't sit you up to really use the program also. So this is going to be a category that we'll have a deep dive next year. And with all the changes in behavior that Paul discussed, and also the impact of COVID, we've seen that the loyalty program have had an impact in terms of usage, and in terms also the fact that people have changed categories, have changed retailers or brand, and so people have been also joining more loyalty program, but also using less of those those loyalty program. So we see now that we're starting to become in a maturity in terms of the loyalty program, and I think in the next year we'll see that only the most successful one will remain relevant and profitable, and people will only be using the one that provide more value in terms of generosity, in terms of content, in terms of engagement strategy. So also what's new this year, what we see is that we all intuitively we all know that generosity and also the personalization of the content is strong, but we've seen this year that there's really a strong relationship between personalization of content and ability to change the behavior of the consumer, so the behavior index. So there's a direct correlation, which is very strong, and the same thing for generosity. So there's a very, very strong correlation between generosity. So the higher perceived the generosity is, the higher the program will be able to modify behavior. Same thing for the content that's provided to the members. So it's going to be more and more important to look at the generosity of your program and to compare it to your main competitive programs. Also, the ability to provide the content, personalized content, is no more an option. It has to be done if you want to maintain your program to be relevant. And we see a clear demarcation between loyalty program that use the data to personalize the communication, personalize the offer, versus loyalty program that only gives, for example, points on a total purchase, or send you special offer in promotion to increase your share of wallet. So programs that are using a very defined or clear content strategy have a very different score in terms of loyalty and in terms also of preference. And as we mentioned, as Paul have shown you, premium programs are getting more and more popular. They're also very effective. That's the second year we've measured that, and we see that those programs are very effective in terms of driving share of wallet and frequency of purchase. And it's also very interesting for the retailers because it's bringing additional revenues on a monthly basis. And for the member, it's providing much more value. So it's retaining more and more of your best customers, but also increasing the share of wallet of those customers. So it's something to look at for if you manage a loyalty program. So before we go to the question section, we'd just like to remind you that as for each year, if you want to improve the performance of your program, you can call us to get a personalized analysis of your program. It's a very detailed report with about 40 pages that compares your program with the best program, but also with the program of your sector. And comparing different variable, the loyalty score overall, the index, all the 3 index, and of course that programs comes with that report comes with a personalized recommendation and a personalized presentation with the expert at R3 and Léger. So thank you again for your time. Thank you for being listening. So now we'll go at the question. If you have additional question, you can go into the panel and just in the section of question, just add your question. So can we go to page 16? I think there's a question on page 16, Luc.
Yeah, this is the preferred method of accumulation. And the question is, does this behavior vary with age group? Top of mind on this, the answer would be yes, but I need to go back into the crosstabs and look at this more precisely. We have this on a per program basis, but we certainly have this as well on the demographic side, but top of mind, I don't remember exactly.
Well, I
would say yes.
I think, Paul, that last year what we've seen in this is that younger crowd, they redeem faster. They don't wait, they redeem faster. They're more impatient, as you know, so they redeem faster. But that's, I think, Martin. So Martin, if you want to send us an email, we can do the crosstab for you and provide the answer. Another question is on premium program. What makes Plum and Optimum program to be considered premium? But in both cases, you have to pay a monthly fee to have access to the benefit of the premium program. So for us, a premium program is a program when you have to pay some fees to get the benefit. Another question. PCO is a co-brand offer in the fuel. Is a co-brand offer in fuel with Esso and mobile, not just with Esso. Yes, we know. You're right. We forgot to mention that it was with Esso and mobile. Thank you very much, Olga, for that precision. Is payment related program include? Is payment related program include? Maybe Paul, you understand that question?
Program. If this is credit cards that we're talking about more precisely, no, we don't survey credit cards. We have done that in the first year, and I think we did that. We tried again in 2019. There is so many different credit cards to survey that we have decided to not go this way. The problem we have is that the number of card holders in certain provinces is so low that we cannot find people to answer the questionnaire. So I think we have in the past we have used the methodology that we are sharing with Léger, the methodology that is being used, all the questionnaire. We can run the questionnaire exactly the same with the specific sample of a credit card, for example, credit card users that you would have. So we can do that. We've done that for drugstores in the past in a specific region to see how it was performing compared to the drugstore in the whole country. So we can do that as well.
We have another question. Did you review any airline loyalty program? No, we didn't. So we took out this year all the airlines company and the hotel loyalty program because they were closed most of the year. So probably next year that we'll come back with those programs.
Yeah, the issue here is that if we included them this year, knowing that WestJet and Porter has just reopened their their airlines and their airlines and the airplanes. So knowing that, we would have penalized, in terms of trending and comparing from one year to the other, we would have penalized those programs. So we decided to skip that. So and to reinsert them in 2022.
So there's another good question from Dean. Do they traditionally rank top 10? The airline company, you have to understand that there's two components. Let's look at Air Miles. Air Miles as a retail component and the travel component. The travel component is doing very well. People like the airline program, and in terms of retail, it's not scoring at all. And that's the reason why most of the big sponsors on the retail side with Airline have left the program over the last few years. So no, they don't. Not the retail sector is not performing at all compared to private loyalty program or to private coalition program.
But if the question is for the airline, like Porter, for example, or WestJet, they are kind of average. They are good, but they are not out of this world. But if we strictly speak about the airlines per se, not the coalition programs in which for example, Air Miles or Airline are part of.
Is there any more question? No more question. Thank you for your time. And thank you, Mathieu Nezan from Dialog Insight. And thank you, Luc Dumont from Léger, Mr. Lafortune from R3. So thank you very much. If you have questions, you can reach us on our website or on the Léger website, or the Dialog Insight website.